So welcome to our presentation with regards to the consecutive Bachelor of Education Teacher Education Program. For this session, I'm going to start with the land acknowledgement. As this meeting is virtual and we are not all gathered in the same space, I recognize that this land acknowledgement might not be for the territory that you are currently on. We ask that if this is the case, you take the responsibility to acknowledge the traditional territory you are on and the current treaty holders. York University recognizes that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Toronto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis communities. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. So today we're going to talk about the Bachelor of Education program, mainly the application and admission requirements, talk a bit about the requirements for the various panels that we offer, talk about our supplementary application requirements, and then a bit of an overview about the courses themselves. York's Faculty of Education is one of the largest faculties of education in Ontario. And that is normally represented every year by the number of applications we receive. For our faculty, we have undergraduate programs in Bachelor of Arts in Educational Studies, as well as the Bachelor of Education, which you guys are all interested in. Our faculty also houses graduate programs, diploma programs, various certificates, as well as professional development courses and qualifications. We offer programs that provide candidates with the knowledge and skills necessary to either enter the teaching profession as confident and effective teachers, or understand the role of education to succeed in education work outside of the traditional classroom. For our Bachelor of Education degree program, our BED program, we offer two entry points. The first is the concurrent Bachelor of Education entry point, which is for high school students applying directly to York University, and they would apply to the Bachelor of Education and their undergrad degree program at the same time. If there are any concurrent candidates, direct entry concurrent candidates in the room right now, this is not your session, okay? This session is for consecutive Bachelor of Education degree program. Consecutive BED candidates are students in the last year of their undergrad degree program. So this fall winter 2025 will be their last year, and they will have their degree conferred prior to September 2026, or already have their degree conferred. Okay. Quick note, one of the questions we always get, do we have to do Teachers College after you've done the Bachelor of Education degree program? No. The Bachelor of Education degree program is quote unquote Teachers College. So you are required to complete a Bachelor of Education degree program as well as an undergraduate degree to be eligible to teach in Ontario. So here are some of the other Bachelor of Education degree opportunities that we have at York University. We have a technological education field for, as everyone knows, that there is a dearth of skilled tech ed teachers in our classrooms. So this is one of the ways that we've started to address that in past years. And more information is available for the various opportunities that we offer and the various teaching subjects that we offer to that realm. We have a Jewish teacher education division. We also have a Waban Indigenous Teacher Education division. Note that the Waban division will start earlier. It'll start in May. And for those candidates, you do have to have some Indigenous background or some Indigenous relationship to be eligible to apply to the program. Okay. Last but not least, our French as a second language cohort at the Glennon College campus, open to two different groups of students, Glendon BA French Studies students or Brescia University College students and majoring in French Studies. So our 2-year consecutive BED program, it is a full-time course of study over 2 years. So I would like to point out that it's fall, winter, and fall, winter. Typically, there are no required courses that are offered during the summer for the program. To be eligible for admission, we would be looking for a minimum B average based on the final 10 full courses or final 2 years of study. So keep in mind that this is final grades from the last 2 years of study. So if there are courses that are currently present or currently being pursued in the fall winter 2025 academic year, those grades won't be eligible for consideration because we won't have final grades for those courses by the application deadline. Okay. So in terms of grade calculation, we'll be looking for, I guess, this past summer, summer 2025, and just be counting backwards for 10 full courses. Our program includes various divisions, so primary, junior, junior intermediate, and intermediate senior, which covers the teaching certifications from junior kindergarten all the way up to grade 12. Okay. I mentioned the 4 academic terms from September to May each year. The program consists of 10 full academic courses, so 20 semester-based courses for a total of 60 credits. And this includes the practicums that you'll be required to complete to satisfy OCT requirements. These practicum are school placements under the mentorship of an Ontario certified teacher, and our experiential education team will work on getting those practicums assigned for you. Our program's offered at 4 locations here at the main Kiel campus, our Catholic Education Center. There's also a Glennon College cohort, and of course, the Waban Indigenous BED cohort is closer to the Waban, the Urban Indigenous Center in the Toronto District School Board. Some of the courses, a good chunk of the courses are also here at the Kiel campus. So the OUAC application. So everyone should be applying or interested in applying for September 2026 start. There's only one start date every year for the consecutive BED program. Okay. Applications are available right now through the Ontario University's Application Center website. And once you're there, please make sure that you are referencing the Teacher Education Application Service. So it is the TEAS application. And when you're going to the website, make sure you're going to ouac.on.ca/TEAS for the Teacher Education Application Service. One of the first things you'll see once you get to that page will be the application guide. It should give you various pieces of information about the various faculties of education that are available in Ontario and their application requirements, various key dates for applying, how to complete the application process successfully, what have you. Okay. For York University, when you go to the York University page on the TEAS website, it will talk about the various divisions and talk about our application requirements. There's various information about the fees, combinations of teaching subjects. So you can start here to look more into the requirements for York University, or you can go back to our consecutive BED page on our own website. But this is always a good starting point for York University or all the other faculties of education in Ontario. So once you've gone to the TEAS application and completed the required application steps, which are identifying the program that you're applying for. Please note that at York University, you can only choose one program at York. Okay, so you only choose primary junior or junior intermediate or intermediate senior. Okay, choose the programs you're applying for, request your transcripts, pay your fees, and submit your application. Okay, those are the pieces that must be done by December 1st. If you are requesting transcripts from an Ontario institution, you can do that through the OUAC directly. If you attended an institution that's outside of Ontario, you will need to contact that institution on your own and request your transcripts be sent to York University, not OUAC. So have those transcripts sent to York University, and we will attach them to your application when we get it from the OUAC. So that piece needs to be done by December 1st. Then there's a second part of the application, which is our supplementary application, which is more the related experiences and looking into you as a professional teacher. Most of the information we'll be getting from the OUAC is not as directed to talking to you as a potential teacher. So we want to get more information from you about what drives you as a teacher, the nuances of who you are and why you want to be a teacher. That we think is covered within our supplementary application. So we'll be asking you to submit that to us by December 18th. Okay. We'll be starting notifying applicants of that supplementary application and the various steps to complete those fairly early in April or in October, sorry. And the pieces of the supplementary application includes identifying two references, giving us a personal statement, which is you explaining to us who you are and what made you want to teach, what happens that made you decide that teaching is the career for you. Okay. Then there is the experience profile and the experience summary. So the experience profile is the piece that asks about the various experiences that you've had. And we ask you to tell us something about each of those experiences that you've had that contribute to who you are and contribute to your desire to be a teacher. The experience summary is total number of hours of experience that you've had in various categories that we'll be asking for in our experience our supplementary application. Please note, supplementary application deadline is December 18th. Okay. So some of the questions we get on pretty much every year, the minimum requirements, what average do people usually have to get admitted to the Bachelor of Education degree program? It is a B average. Students always, every year, students are admitted with a minimum B average. Yes, of course, students are also admitted with A averages, but quite a lot of students are admitted with the B average. The B is the minimum requirement. Okay. For the minimum requirement, please note that we are looking for your overall average based on the last 2 full years of study for all applicants, right? Whether you're primary, junior, junior, intermediate, or intermediate senior. We're looking for the full 2 full years completed study as of December 1st, and the initial average is based on that. Then for junior, intermediate, and intermediate senior candidates, we are also looking for teaching subjects. So we will take the best grades that count towards your teaching subject from your entire undergraduate transcript. So whether it's a first year course or a fourth year course or a third year course, if it counts towards your teaching subject, we'll use the best grades. Okay. How are marks versus experience weighed? I would say 50-50. Please note that you need the minimum requirements to move forward in the application process. If you don't meet that minimum requirement, then you may not be eligible for consideration. But we look for a blend of academics and experience because we know that just having the experience doesn't mean you can cope with the academic rigor of becoming a teacher. Just as well, having high grades doesn't necessarily mean that you have the personality to cope with the classroom. So we're looking for a combination of both of those characteristics. Is there a preference for 4-year versus 3-year degrees? There is no preference. For primary, junior, or junior intermediate, you can have a 3-year or a 4-year degree. Please note that intermediate senior candidates are required to have an honors or 4-year degree to be eligible for admission. So for some candidates, you'll be asking, so how about a 3-year degree? And can I then substitute that with a master's? That won't work. A master's is not eligible for consideration. The basis of admission is the undergraduate degree. So 3-year or 4-year undergraduate degree. Masters do not count into the consideration for admission. By what date does the applicant's undergrad degree need to be completed? Must have your degree conferred prior to the beginning of the program, or at the very latest, must have completed the coursework requirements by the end of that summer and be graduating in the fall. So usually most people are aiming for April completion of courses and then June convocation. And that's the case for most of you. And I'm sure that will be the case going forward for most of you. Things happen from time to time. Life will rear its head. We make our plans and God laughs. So sometimes it doesn't work out the way we plan. We do have some leeway to be able to have you complete courses over the summer, if necessary. When will I know if I've been offered admission? March 1 is generally when we're required to share those details with our applicants by the OUAC. A lot of you will be checking your admission status on my file. Some of you will be checking your admission status on the OUAC website. March 1st is when those details will become available. Do we have any special admission policies? I like to think that the Access Initiative is the closest we get to a quote unquote special admission policy. I like to think of it as considering various experiences in your life that may not necessarily show up on a transcript or may not be something that you can discuss in your experience summary or experience profile. So the Access Initiative is looking for a way to value the various experiences that you've led in your life that have contributed to who you are and why you want to be a teacher. Okay. Some of the categories for selecting the Access Initiative are listed there. It really is a matter of your deciding if those characters apply to you and then including a bit of a discussion on how that category applies and how that has affected your desire to be a teacher in your personal statement. Okay. And there's more information on the various requirements and how to go through the Access Initiative portion of the application on that link in the website. So I mentioned the various divisions that we offer earlier. The primary junior, which is junior kindergarten to grade 6. At the primary junior division, there is no teaching subject that is offered. You are taught to teach everything to that age group. Okay. So regardless of your degree, we teach you how to teach English, history, math, science, whatever the case may be. Junior intermediate candidates are certified between grades 4 and grade 10. At the junior intermediate division, you are teaching everything, but you're also required to have one general teaching subject to your qualification. Okay. Uh, for the most part, you're looking at general science, mathematics, English, and there is a course on the program, or there will be courses in the program tailored to your particular teaching subject. Okay. Intermediate senior candidates are required to have two teaching subjects. Okay. Intermediate senior candidates are traditionally your high school teachers. They are certified to teach between grade 7 and grade 12. So you get two specific teaching subjects, and we will be teaching you how to teach those two teaching subjects, and as well as other undergraduate or other BEd courses to satisfy your degree requirements. Then there's our tech ed candidates, closely related to the intermediate senior candidates. So they'll be taking a lot of those courses, but most of their focused courses will be within the tech ed stream. The list of the BEd teaching subject requirements are listed on our website. But for the most part, junior intermediate candidates are required to have a minimum of 4 full-year courses or 8 semester-based courses or 24 credits in their particular teaching subject. Intermediate senior candidates are required to have 6 full courses or 12 semester-based courses or 36 York credits in their first teaching subject, and 18 credits or 3 full courses or 6 semester-based courses in that second teaching subject in their honors undergraduate degree. Okay. Minimum GPA required for the teachable is a B. So it's still the B, still the 14-point scale, still starting at 73%. The only difference for the teaching subjects is that we take the best grades from the transcripts to qualify the teaching subject. If an applicant isn't sure course counts towards a teachable, what should they do? Well, if this was a month ago, I would say contact us, and we'll tell you if the course you're looking at will count towards your teaching subject. Unfortunately, as we're going to be preparing to start assessing the various applications shortly, we're going to be cutting off our pre-assessment of transcripts and degrees by the end of this week. So you won't necessarily have that availability to us. So you'd be required to hopefully make that determination on yourself if a course will count towards a particular teaching subject. References, experiences, what are we looking for in your application? We look for, in terms of experience, we look for all kinds of experience. Generally, classroom or community experience. Definitely at the age group that you want to teach, that would be best. If it's paid experience, that's great for you. If it's unpaid experience, that's still great experience. Okay. So as much experience as you can get. There is no maximum number of hours of experience that we can tell you that you maximum or minimum number of hours of experience that we can tell you to prepare, simply because if we tell you 200 hours and then the applicant pool brings in 400 hours, we would effectively have defeated your application. So get as much experience as you can. Keep in mind that two people with the same grades, and even with the same experiences, will take different things from those experiences. So we want you to reflect on what you're learning about education, what you're learning about yourself, what you're thinking about in terms of how this experience may have made you feel, may have made you think about teaching, etc. these are all the kinds of things that we're looking at you to bring to the faculty to share with us as a potential teacher. So there's a list there of the various kinds of experiences that we look for. So definitely classroom, of course, but there's nothing saying that camp counselor might not be just as valuable. So as much experience as you can get across the realm. Keep in mind that variety is important. The different pieces of experience that you have influence or share information with who you are in different ways. What makes an applicant stand out in their experience profile? We are looking for the more rounded applicant. The trick with finding the more rounded applicant is being able to find that applicant who can share the various pieces that of experiences that they've had and demonstrate that quote unquote roundedness. Okay. It is a holistic application process, and we look at I bless our admissions committee because I don't know how they do it, but they read through all of your applications, they read through your experience profiles and personal statements for those candidates who make it that far. And then they have the job of parsing through the various pieces of information to, in some cases, know exactly what you mean, and then in some cases, having to interpret the various pieces of experience and what you're sharing about it. We need you to share as much as you can so that we can aid the admissions committee in their decision-making process. Keep in mind that Access Initiative candidates are required to um, describe a bit about how their identification or systemic barriers may have contributed to their desire to be a teacher or been a barrier itself to becoming a teacher. Reference letters. Yes, we are asking for 2 references to complete your application to the Bachelor of Education degree program. Now, you do not need to contact these references and get these letters beforehand. You do need to let them know that you are planning on using them as a reference. Once you've identified those referees to us, we will reach out to them on your behalf and ask them to complete our reference process for you. Okay. So they'll be completing this online. It'll be an electronic process for them. They will answer some questions, potentially write a bit of a letter or essay on your behalf, and then submit that online. Okay. The beauty is through our MyFile letter of reference system, you can actually see once your referees have submitted their reference. You won't be able to see the reference, but you'll be able to see once they've done. So this is the program. This is what you're signing up for. There will be some in-class portions where you'll be learning with your peers. Then you'll be going home and finishing assignments or journals or whatever the case is on your computer. Some of your, I think maybe 1 or 2 of your classes will be fairly huge in a big lecture hall. And of course, there is the practice teaching component where we'll be making sure you're placed in school so that you can practice the craft that you're trying to get into. Talking about practice teaching, how many days of practicum are we providing? A minimum 88 days over 2 years. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Ontario College of Teachers has a minimum requirement of 80 days and will definitely be exceeding that. How many practicums will students complete? 3 in-school practicum. There is no more community placement. I'll need to remove that one from the slides going forward. So in year 1, you'll be doing 1 day a week school observation, starting probably late September, early October. And that will continue all the way through the year to culminate with a 2-week block in April. And then in year 2, 2 days a week in the fall term with a 2-week block in December. and then another 2 days a week in the winter term with a 4-week block in spring. So mid-April, May, somewhere there. Okay. Practicum, where will they be held? So we are partnered with the York Region boards, the Dufferin Peel boards, and the Toronto board. So that is both public and Catholic branches. Okay. So we will be making arrangements to place you within those 6 boards. You will not be able to select your own schools or boards. Well, the boards you can select, the schools you won't be able to select. We want you to have a fresh perspective or have the schools to have a fresh perspective of you. If you have a prior relationship or a prior communication with them, that may um, affect how they see you as, and we want them to see you as a potential BED graduate, a potential teacher, not as the past student they may have known, or not as someone's daughter and child that used to come by and visit. Okay. So we covered the numbers of days you'd be in your placements. So the courses for the BED program. So over the 2 years, we'll be doing the bulk of your enrollments for you. There are 27 required courses that everyone in the Bachelor of Education degree program would be completing, right? And they're all listed there. So regardless of division, you'd be completing these courses. Then there are the practicum credits, 9 credits in practicum over the 2 years. Then there are division-specific courses. Primary, junior, and junior intermediate share similarities in the courses. Most of the courses are very similar. Junior intermediate has an additional one that relates to the specific teaching subject that they'd be completing. Intermediate senior candidates have more specific courses that are tied to their teaching subjects. Okay. And on top of those, there would be opportunity for you to complete a few elective courses to round out your Bachelor of Education degree requirements. The elective courses are going to be offered through the Faculty of Education, and some of your previous undergrad courses, while they may reflect on or be tangential to the Bachelor of Education, they will not be counted as credits or be eligible for transfer credit to the Bachelor of Education degree program. Big question that always gets asked, how much will this cost? What is tuition going to be like? For next year, we don't know yet. So this year, I've shared the tuition amounts for our fall winter 25-26 cohort. The program is broken up into 30 credits each year. So for this year, 30 credits is approximately $7,400. Okay. Second year is going to be, we don't know. I'm giving the approximation for the same tuition amount, but we're aware that tuition will be going up every year. It usually goes up a little bit. And that information will be made clear to you or offered to you once we have that. So once we get it from Student Services or from the registrar's office, we'll publish that for you as well. Job opportunities. What support does the institution offer to help students get a teaching position once they've completed their BED? One of the best assistances that we offer is getting you that practicum placement, getting you the opportunity to get your foot in those schools, in those boards to get that practice teaching. Also gives you an insight into what's going on with that school, with that board, and you can leverage that or network that into opportunities down the road potentially. Along with that, there are our career services team, Faculty of Education Students Association, who puts on various workshops for you to add qualifications or develop skills within your practice teaching to better yourself as a potential teacher candidate. Okay. How are students finding jobs? Generally, networking, practicum websites, etc. Also, the school boards will host various information sessions or nights for teacher candidates to visit to hear things about the boards or whatever the case may be. I know the Faculty of Education also has information sessions with regards to maybe international positions that become available. Various board nights that are happening will all be posted and made public for you to attend and take information from. Guidance counselor, I get that one a lot. Becoming a guidance counselor is, well, you do need your Bachelor of Education degree to start that process. But keep in mind that the Bachelor of Education degree is the start of that process. Becoming a guidance counselor would require years of teaching experience as well as years of professional development before you would be eligible to be considered as a guidance counselor or maybe a special education teacher or a principal. Can I teach abroad? Yes, you can definitely teach abroad. Your Bachelor of Education is another undergraduate degree, a professional undergraduate degree that you can take with you anywhere in the world. Um, Keep in mind that different countries, different jurisdictions, even different provinces have different requirements for teacher certification in their jurisdictions. So while our Bachelor of Education degree is highly looked upon, it would be your responsibility to research what the requirements are in that new jurisdiction and make sure you're meeting them. So for more information on the Bachelor of Education degree program, definitely look at the Teacher Education Application Services website. Most of the links pertaining to York University will bring you right back to the York University consecutive BEd application page, which is available at edu.yorku.ca or yorku.ca/edu, whichever way you want to do it. Thank you very much for your time. And that is most of the talking I will be doing today. So let me